Hey, do you want to know how to stop being emotionally abused? Hey, I'm Antje Boyd, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man method. And today we talk a very important topic so you stop attracting emotionally abusive men into your life and you also start attracting emotionally available men who cherish you and support you into your life as soon as possible. So how do you stop attracting emotionally abusive men in your life? Well, tip number one, it's really kind of like important to know that is you hand a man a resume. To stop handing a man a resume that tells them that they can treat you like a doormat or that they can treat you in an emotionally abusive way. So look, if you hand a man a resume and you're like really saying, oh, it's okay, and I forgive you, and it's okay, right? And so like, let's say, because in the beginning, abuse oftentimes actually starts really interestingly in sort of like a joking way, right? Sort of like a sarcastic way. And he's testing you, right? He's seeing like how high your tolerance of abuse is, right? And so like it's really important to see what resume are you handing him, how are you responding to him, so to say, making fun of you, making little condescending jokes about you, and so on. So truly important to know that and to pay attention to that very importantly. So look, when I was 21, and then I was in a relationship, well, if you can call it a relationship, but I was like dating this guy for about 2.5 months, and he constantly sort of jokingly put me down in front of his friends. And then later on, he would just always back and he's like, oh, it was just a joke. I'm so sorry, right? And so like if I had responded and if I would have said, oh yeah, it's okay, it's totally fine. Oh, isn't that funny? Yeah, you're totally right, right? Like he would have actually not ended up treating me right. But because I actually said, oh, hell to the no, that's so not okay. Are you freaking kidding me? You know, you don't you dare treat me like that again. Really shifted something for him, right? Where he really saw, wow, she's really handing me a resume, how to treat her, right? So that's number one. Tip number two on how to stop attracting emotionally abusive men, how to stop attracting them, right, is actually going into and looking, where are you abusing yourself? Okay, I want you to take a deep breath right now because this is not easy and this is actually hard to be confronted by, right? But honestly, where are you beating yourself up, right? Where are you sort of like really hard on yourself, very self-critical on yourself? You know, you have like this very strong inner like manager and judge inside of yourself who constantly puts you down, right? So that's really important. You know, so if you're like, you know, you don't deserve better, or you should have given him a chance, or you know, you're too fat, you know, or you're not smart enough, of course you're going to end up with somebody like that, because what else would you expect? So really paying attention, what is your internal dialogue actually look like? What does your internal dialogue actually look like, right? So instead of saying, hey, Susie, you can do it, Karen, go for it, you got it, right? Like, I believe in you. So really like shifting your internal dialogue from abusing yourself, beating yourself up, to actually going to celebrating yourself, supporting yourself, and advocating for yourself. Now, the third piece, the third tip on how to stop being emotionally abused is by embracing your inner abuser. Wow, I'm just really putting it deeply layered on here. I know. But what I'm saying is, however you're being treated on the outside, that's also a part that you have inside of yourself that you are judging because you are not expressing it, right? So you may actually like make some slight jokes, or you may be actually passive aggressive, So you may be abusive in a different kind of way that's not so overt, but it's rather covert, right? So examples here are, are like passive aggressive, withdrawing, just stopping communication, or like just like doing something to get something back. Anything like that is really, really important for you to be aware of, right? So super, super, super important for you to be aware of that. Where's that abusing, where are you the abuser, right? Where are you the abuser? And we all have that part inside of us, right? Where we just want to chop somebody's head off, where we just had it, we're just angry. And of course we don't do that. But what I'm saying is to embrace that part inside of yourself, because actually it's super, super powerful, and it's totally repels, right? If you're really stepping into it and you're owning that inner abuser inside of yourself, the cool thing about that is that it's going to really repel abusers, right? And why is that? Because you are really attracting what you resist the most inside of yourself. So super, super important to know. Super, super important to know. You do attract to yourself what you resist the most. Okay, and I know that's not easy to hear. I know I want you to take a deep breath, but look, I had to see that inside of myself as well, right? That when I met my husband, that I uncovered, wow, I have this part inside of me that's really aggressive, and it's more verbally aggressive because my dad was verbally aggressive. He never hit me, right? So I'm not physically aggressive, but like verbally aggressive. And it sets you free to embrace that inside of yourself and then work from there. Celebrate what it comes with it, which is the intensity, which is the truth, which is the fire, right? And then also forgiving yourself that maybe you may have targeted it to add somebody else in the past, and to stop doing that, right? And to forgive yourself that you do the best you can, and then in that moment you just couldn't stop yourself, right? Your lizard brain just took over, and you could just, like, your prefrontal cortex could just not assist you in the timely way, right? And so you just had to run it out. So forgiving yourself for having that quote unquote animalistic part inside of yourself, like I have it inside of myself, like we all have it inside of ourselves. Okay, and then tip number 4 on how to stop being emotionally abused is setting boundaries unapologetically. Now, it's really important to know that a queen sets boundaries, says no from the get-go. So many times when women come to me, they ask me, well, Antje, when should I set the boundary? When should I say no? Well, how about right away, right? Allow him to get to know you, who you really are. Allow him to get to know you, what you really believe in, right? So if you really believe, no, this was not okay, that you were 10 minutes late without letting me know, right? Then it's important to set that boundary right out of the gate. Yes, ladies, right out of the gate. So then, for one, it's actually not that big of a deal. And he'll be like, wow, she has standards. I really got to step up my game. So it goes a little bit with tip number 1. You hand him a resume, right? But also he trusts you because you're very consistent. He gets to know you. He knows where your boundaries are. He's going to push your boundaries, and he's going to see how far he can push them. And you're like, till here and not further, right? It's really important for me that you open up the car door for me. Or it's really important for me that you hold a chair. Or it's really important for me that you let me finish my sentence and don't interrupt me. Whatever it is for you, to really learn to communicate that right away. And don't think, oh my God, I just got to know him and I don't want to rock the boat. And, I just want to just going to see where this goes. And if he does this all the time, why would you do that? You can just do it right away. Set him up so he's not going to even do it the second time. And it's going to be so much easier to set the boundary right out of the gate than wait for a while until it gets really awkward, until he's going to say, wait, you were okay with that, and out of the sudden you're kind of weird around it. Like, what happened? Like, what shifted, right? You don't want to wait for that particular moment. You want to right away be like, this is who I am, kind of like take it or leave it. And that builds that trust, and that really has someone who is emotionally abusive just really be stopped in his track, and he has to really think twice if it makes sense to continue dating you if he's somebody who's normally emotionally abusive. All right, so those are my 4 tips for today. So again, in a nutshell, tip number 1, how to stop being emotionally abused is stop handing them the wrong resume. Tip number 2 is really about stop abusing yourself. Stop beating yourself up. Tip number 3 is embrace your inner abuser towards the outside, where you may want to beat somebody up, where you want to chop somebody's head off. You know, we all have those moments. And tip number 4 is about setting boundaries unapologetically. So if you're like, wow, this is really, really interesting. And Auntie, you got me there. You know, I do have to shift that inside of myself. I don't know where to start. I actually feel a little awkward, maybe even right now. And I don't want to beat myself up, but where do I go from here? How do I stop my dysfunctional internal dialogue or the passive aggressive pattern that I've developed over the years that is not serving me? Then I invite you to come on a Magnetize Your Man heart-to-heart chat, where we get really in there and we really see what's true for you, what's the honest truth, and what's really going on inside of yourself, like what's really so important, or what keeps you from embracing your inner abuser. You know, this is not easy work, you guys. You know, this is pretty like deep work, but because it's so deep, it's actually like yields like sometimes literally instant results. It's really, really incredible because it gives you so much momentum. So if you want to sign up for that Magnetize Your Man heart-to-heart chat, then click that link below or go to magnetizeyourman.com. Ladies, I believe in you. You are amazing and you deserve the best. Much love to you, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah!